from the Watkins Law Firm. Good morning.
Good morning, Lisa.
Okay, so first let's talk about the vote. 5-3 in this one. So lots of people are saying, well, this is why we need another justice on here. But it wouldn't have mattered in this case.
It really wouldn't. I think that they're trying to make the ruling kind of sexy for the news or for the campaigns, but it really wouldn't have mattered because it was a 5-justice decision in favor. So even if they added another justice that the Republicans put on, it wouldn't have mattered. And it's a separation of power issue too.
Okay, so let's talk about the actual ruling. So the lower court ruling said that these restrictions on these abortion clinics, these specific ones in Texas, were because it wasn't good for the women's health, is what their argument was. The Supreme Court said, not good enough.
Right. The Supreme Court, everything is, especially when it comes to constitutional issues, it's a balancing. So what they do is they balance the issue for protecting the women's health and the restrictions that they're putting on. And the justices decided that there was no health issue at the forefront that caused them to be able to infringe upon the constitutional rights. Justice Thomas also came out and said, well, we're kind of getting confused in that you guys are talking about a constitutional right for the physicians. There's no constitutional right for the physicians to abortion. It's about the women. But they still stood strong with, yeah, but there's no health issue here.
Right, there's no health issue. In fact, the justices said it was putting, not only was it not a health issue, but it was putting an undue burden on the women coming to these clinics.
Correct.
Okay.
And speaking of undue burden, the Planned Parenthood v. KUSI case is what originally came out with undue burden.
And that's a case from the 70s? Or the 90s?
90s, 92.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Justice Kennedy in this. He's the swing vote here, and him joining this kind of liberal group, does this signal other decisions that he might make in the future?
Well, Justice Kennedy came out. He was actually an author in the Planned Parenthood v. KUSI case. They were a little surprised that he didn't come out and speak on this case because he was an author. I'm not sure why. Maybe because he knew that the spotlight would be on him, but he kind of stayed in the same path that he had been on this issue.
Okay. Let's talk about the clinics themselves in Texas, just as a legal situation. Because of this ruling, does this allow them to open up for business again immediately?
Well, the restrictions that were causing them to close are now lifted. So they will be able to open up because the whole reason that they were closed was because of this case. And this will have a lot of effects on all other states that were having restrictions coming down and were planning to have even more restrictions. I was reading that there was even about over 400 restrictions coming down in other states that they were trying to put on these clinics. And this case will have a major effect.
I was going to, let's talk about the overarching effect of this ruling. What does this say to other kinds of cases that will come up through the Supreme Court? What kind of precedent does this particular case set?
It sets a major precedent. Obviously, we know that the Supreme Court is the highest court, and they have come out and said, that they don't want to unduly burden these women. They obviously are not going to go back on that decision.
Right.
And as we've said, that the majority have already said that it's not fair.
So because no doubt that more of these types of laws are going to be passed, more of these clinics are going to be really, really scrutinized. So when legal issues come up in the future, does this mean that lower courts will look at the Supreme Court ruling in terms of their judgment on more cases that will come forward?
Definitely. It's the lower court's duty, actually, to look at the law that has been placed out by basically the parent court. It would be reckless of them just to
abandon it for whatever reason.
Exactly.
All right. Deanne, always great to see you.
Thank you
so much for your time.
Thanks. Have a good morning.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.